late tonight. Oh, I'm 1 minute late, so I do apologize for starting a minute late. But before we proceed, I do want to make sure that the YouTube chat is fired up. Maybe hydrate a little bit. Oh, let's get that out of the camera view. Oof. I had a plan, and luckily it was not an intricate plan for tonight. So we got a little bit of a comic book reading planned for tonight. I also am willing to open up the panel if it gets really stale here. However, my hope is that, I'll get a good night's sleep for work tomorrow. But right now I'm just going to pull up the web browser, get the Sci-Fi comic up. And we got our first guest in the chat today. We got, what up, William? How you doing, bro? Yeah, so today I decided to go and see if the one of these sci-fi books I was reading had a comic. And it did. It freaking did. So, I don't think it's going to be like, normally I'm a little reluctant to read comic books on stream. Because, I don't want to can't steal people's stuff. I don't want to I want people to, if I like a comic book, I want people to read the comic book, right? I don't want to be like that guy who gives away free comics. But I think this will be okay because I'm going to give people like a bit of a taste of the universe, and then we'll take it from there. And I didn't even clean up over here. All right, let's fire it up. Hey, what up, Free to Think? Consider it a promotion. Consider it promotion. Oh, yeah, exactly. That's correct. And so I do get a little touchy because, like, people will say, oh, why did they take down my video with a movie preview in it? And they'll be like, I'm promoting it. And it's like, well, you're taking away views from the movie trailer. But that being said, I think this is an obscure enough sci-fi release that I'm not going to be jeopardizing the revenue of the people who make this series. So first thing I need to do is figure out, oh boy, how to do two things. So one, I accidentally told my Google Chrome to go into dark mode, which is really cool. It's like it overrides everything to make it dark. The problem is, see these little white buttons up here? That's because the zoom button was I think inverted. So it's not the right color anymore. So a lot of the user interface elements get a bit sketchy and we don't have time to fix it. So let's get to page 1 of the comic. And we're going to do a bit of an overview as soon as I figure out how to navigate. Oh, here we go. I figured it out. All right, there it is. There it is. I'm going to go to page 1. And this is not necessarily representative of the comic. In fact, we're going to get a picture of the book cover of the original book. So we're going to get the book on Harrington on Basilisk Station. That is book 1 of the Honor Harrington series of books written by David Weber. And it's a pretty decent, it's a pretty decent, what do you call it? Space opera, I guess you would call it. First time I stumbled into the Honor Harrington universe, here's a picture of the cover right over. Oh, that zoomed in a lot. Yeah, we're going to put that on my regular screen here. Let's get my tabs a little organized. I kind of just jumped into this today. I decided to YOLO it. All right, let's zoom out. So first time I saw this, I was like, oh man, this looks a little schlocky. I was a little bit on the fence. What was happening was I was actually looking up an audiobook narrator and books that they, read. And I found this and I was like, okay, the name of the character is Honor Harrington. First name is Honor, like Klingon Honor. And, she's got a cat, but it's not really a cat, it's a tree cat. And obviously this book is titled, on Basilisk Station because she's being stationed on Basilisk Station. What is Basilisk Station? Well, instead of me telling you, we'll just go right into looking at the comic. So as you can see, this is one of the reasons I showed the book cover because this is supposed to be Honor Harrington here. And this is her here. And I mean, like, you know, you got like a military lady here wearing like a freaking like Royal Navy uniform or some like very, very, you know, thing. And then you got this hot jumpsuit. Well, it's not necessarily hot, but it's like, you know, a futuristic, you know, I don't even know if you call it an overcoat. Well, let's get right into it. So we're going to just dive right into it. Tales of Honor on Basilisk Station. So this is the comic book version of it. Oh, and here, right over here, can we zoom in on that? No, I cannot zoom in on that. So one of the things is reading Kindle books can be like a real pain in the butt. Oh, okay, that worked. All right, good. But I think we got some progress here. Okay, so the Manticore Star Kingdom is right here. Star Kingdom of Manticore. The Solarian League is basically Earth. I believe that's what it is. No, wait. It doesn't say that. But you got Beowulf. You got some other planet. Well, I don't know where Earth is. But basically the bad guys are over here. So the bad guys are in green. And then you got some other sketchy fellas here, and here. And apparently 100 light years is that. So, yeah, 100 light years here. This is a crap ton of light years, and luckily the good guys have a lot more space than the bad guys. Although this is not the most descriptive map. In fact, I don't even... Oh, here we go. Basilisk. It's right up here. So, if Manticore is here, Basilisk is up here. All right, let's get right to it now. We're going to move forward. Do we want to read the blurb in the beginning? We could, but we're not gonna. Although David Weber is, you know, a decent author. If you want me to read that blurb, I'll be happy to do so, but only if anybody in the chat asks me to do so. In the year 2130, a colony ship left old Earth with the mission of interstellar colonization, launching the largest diaspora in the history of mankind. A new calendar system was born that year, 1 PD, commemorating the post-diaspora era. Sublight colonization allowed like-minded individuals to populate and govern new star nations however they deemed appropriate. Theocracies, monarchies, communist states, democracies, and fringe groups all flourished. Initially a source of great peace, technological advances in transit speed and further expansion shrunk the distances between the star systems, bringing about an inevitable clash of ideologies. One of these star nations are the People's Republic of Haven, and is on the surface a democracy, but in practicality a central party-controlled dictatorship. Oh, they sound like dicks. Wasted economically by its welfare state. Oh yeah, they got a huge welfare state. Haven embraced an expansionist policy of military conquest to sustain its bloated system. Huh? It's kind of interesting. Conquering systems after system, Haven finally set its sights on the Star Kingdom of Manticore, home to our hero, Honor Harrington. Okay, so there's our homegrown. So right off the bat, this starts off a little different. And I should note, one of the things I liked about Comixology and what I like about Kindle is they have the guided view, which some people don't like. But essentially the trick to this is you double click like that, and it fills up more of my screen than what you can see right now, but not by much. But the general idea is that you can click on the screen, or you can like press the arrow key, and it does this. So that's how that works basically. But before we do that, let me put this on the screen that it actually fits on. You know, I want to put this on a properly sized and proportioned screen. So I am going to lose the ability to look at the metrics, but I will continue to see the chat. So we're going to go to my top monitor, and now we're going to go do it again. There we go. So now that's what guided view looks like on my screen, so you guys have an idea. And it's kind of cool because, like, you know, it's a little easier to read a comic book like this. So, you know, you got the ship, and her dad was a doctor, but he was a chaplain, and for some reason she's a prisoner. So this is where this comic diverges from the book right off the bat, because apparently it's like a time jump. It's going straight to like book 4 or 6. I think it's like going straight to book 6. I'm literally like in the beginning of the book where she's taken prisoner by the bad guys, and I'm not even up to that part yet. But apparently, like, book 1 is being recanted by Captain Honor Harrington, actually Commodore Honor Harrington at this point. You know, in her mind while they're trying to hold her hostage, because she's like a tough as nails, you know, female captain. She's tough as nails. She's not freaking having it. She's like being silent. She's not giving the propaganda minister any satisfaction whatsoever. She's in charge of the this blonde bitch is the public information person or whatever. Like, that's, you know, the name of it. What's up, Lady Mist? Good to see you. So you know, she's being held prisoner, and she got like a bionic eye, and that doesn't even get covered until later in the story. And you got a ship right over here. So let's see here. HMS Fearless in the Basilisk system. All right. And she's saying commanding a ship in the Royal Manticoran Navy means making decisions that end people's lives. Writers, politicians, and historians often eulogize our battles. And you got the sidewall right over here. So now, obviously, this is like a bit of creative liberty, or whatever you want to call it, poetic license taken by the writers. But generally, this is what's happening in the books. You got these ships that are like kind of lengthy, and their propulsion system also has the capability of creating a gravitational sidewall that can, you know, deflect enemy fire. What up, David Glenn? It's good to see you, man. I always, you know, sometimes you go, oh man, I'm sorry I missed your show. You never have to be sorry for missing my show, but I do appreciate hearing from you the day after. You know, whenever you say that, it's like always appreciated. But, you know, you never have to worry about missing my show. I understand. Look, I value a good night's sleep too, and sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's by my own fault alone. What up, Lion Ratten? Good to see you. So we got right here, we got, you know, oh wait, did I read that part? Oh, it doesn't really matter. You guys see the side wall is like, but incineration or explosive decompression is, I'm sorry, but incineration or explosive decompression in the infinite vastness of space does not resemble the romanticized fiction portrayed. Missiles tipped with contact fusion or bomb-pumped laser warheads rocketed hundreds of thousands of kilometers at each other across a lonely, vicious, vacuous divide. Now, I don't know what the heck a bomb-pumped laser warhead is. Like, is this a missile with a warhead that shoots lasers? Or is this some other level of technology that I'm not terribly familiar with? I can't tell you. I never question myself in the chaotic frenzy of battle. You cannot, not when you have split seconds to make the decisions you have to make. So anyway, right off the bat, you can see the bridge of this ship here. Everyone's wearing their space helmet or wearing some kind of extravehicular suit. It's not necessarily not necessarily a space suit, more like a pressure suit. You know, more like if your ship takes damage and you lose atmosphere, you have two things going on here. You have your, you know, helmet to keep the air in, and everyone has a crash cage. And this is something that is continually described in the book. Like whenever a character goes to get up from their seat, like there was somebody mentioned that, oh, the first officer unlocked his crash cage and got up. And these are probably not nearly as intricate as what David Weber had in the book, but you can see how a lot of these seats are huge. Now, granted, they tend to stylize these things. Like, why does the first officer, captain, and this guy over here get like the best seat, but these suckers over here, I mean, do they look very well protected? Is it that they don't matter? I don't know. But anyway, jokes aside, let's keep rolling here. And, you know, I take a little bit of battle damage, and it looks like the seat belts don't really cover the legs, but it looks cool. Men like, so basically, like many brave men and women have died under my command. Men like Chief Petty Officer Braun. God, what was his first name? I can't remember. Basilisk Station was a triumph and a disaster, but I'm getting ahead of myself. And so basically what happens at Basilisk Station? Well, she's tapped in to be in command of this station, obviously, but why? Well, as the captain of the HMS Fearless, Honor Harrington, you know, is assigned after some war games. And so after the war games, and what up, Caleb Reynolds? Good to see you. He's got a pretty good channel. You guys should check out Caleb Reynolds. Quality content, knows a thing or two about building a PC. That was funny last 2 weeks ago. Anyway, yeah, so anyway, let's see here. Now, she got a tree cat, and right off the bat, her tree cat is named Nimitz because she's like, obviously, she's a naval lady, right? So she's naming her cat after freaking Chester Nimitz, or she's naming the cat after the USS Nimitz. Take your pick. You know, the big aircraft carrier that is named after the big World War II admiral, Chester Nimitz. But this is a weird cat, yo. This thing, I mean, it looks like in this, they make the cat look like a monster here. Like, I mean, just a very exotic looking creature. It's got like 4 sets of arms in the front. So it's like 1, 2, 1, 2, plus the hind legs. And they're very intelligent. They're kind of like almost human intelligent. But they have like this, I mean, they got a sense of humor. So one of the things about tree cats that's weird is that tree cats can sense the emotions of humans. And after many years together, I can almost always tell what Nimitz is sensing. And so essentially, as she's, you know, dealing with other people, the tree cat can relay their feelings to her through some kind of weird telepathic link, which, I mean, in real life might have been pheromones, but apparently the author decided to go with the telepathic route. Although in the book, they don't even begin to hash it out like that. Like in the book, they don't even lay mention to that. And she's like, this is how she knew her first officer, McKeon. Her executive officer and second in command had a problem with her, and that the crew was on edge. And the cat's kind of like, you know, relaying that emotion. But let's like skip ahead here. So, you know, captain on the bridge. And the cat's making himself at home right up there, apparently. And that cat's like, what does he weigh? Like 30 pounds? He's a pretty heavy mother effer right there. And like, sometimes this cat will ride on her shoulders. So this broad is like real strong. And she gets orders to go to Basilisk Station, which right there, she's in command of the ship. But a lot of the crew is just like, you know, why didn't Mr. McKeon get command? You know, even Commander McKeon's kind of upset that he's not the captain of his own ship, you know? And meanwhile, for some reason, there's a refit going on, and it's a much more extensive refit. Like, they want to put on new weapons that, in theory, will blow up the shields of the enemy ships in one shot. The problem is, you got to get within range of the enemy ship. And when you do that, you're going to get blown up anyway. So, you know, it's like one of these weird, you know, military doctrine decisions that the Admiralty makes and doesn't always make, you know, sense. And one thing about the comic is, yeah, the ships are pretty accurate. They look like a hammerhead shark. You know, you can kind of see it here, front, back. And I don't know what the heck all this crap is over here. Admirals de Orville and Hemphill practiced regular live war games in preparation for what we all was inevitable, a war with Haven, which is the communist people, basically, that we talked about earlier. And basically, in these war games, she was underpowered, but because she had the new Grav Lance, the Grav Lance is like a weapon that can penetrate the enemy shields, she was able to strategize in such a way, basically, they ran dark, so nobody could see them until they were in really close range. And then when it was time to fire, she was able to, you know, basically blow right through the side wall of the enemy, of the, you know, fellow combatant. You know, once again, these are war games using real weapons set to low power. And during a simulated battle, it's going to shut off the, you know, power on the ship in order to neutralize it, to basically tell the ship that they lost, they're out of commission, take them out of action. And then at that point, they win the battle, they basically kick some ass. But after that, you know, everyone kicks their ass. Everyone gets offended that they got their asses kicked. And she says, as much, our relation was short-lived. However, de Orville's task force wanted revenge for its flagships. Humiliating defeat. They systematically sought us out and annihilated us from distances beyond Fearless's range. So at that point, they just kept getting their asses handed to them throughout the rest of the war games. So, you know, she's doing some calisthenics. Is that even possible, by the way? Like, how do you do that? Like, can I learn to do that? You know, is it hard? I wonder. Maybe I'll try it one of these days. I'll probably pull a muscle doing it. I mean, I don't know. You got to hang some crap from the ceiling, and then you got to do that. And then, I don't know, like, is my butt round enough? Maybe you need better glutes to balance out the weight. What up, Pacific 414? Good to see you. We got Mike, Pacific 414 here, the founder of Pop Talk, which can be found on Sundays at, like, I think he does it in the noon now, like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. But yeah, you should subscribe to Pacific 414. He has quality content and quality discussions. You can do it, Ronnie. Yeah, maybe we'll try one of these. I'll let you guys know how that works out. And if I can do it proficiently, I'll show off. So right now, she's doing calisthenics in Sphinx gravity because she comes from the planet Sphinx. And on her home planet, they have a gravity of like 1.35. So now she's going back to Earth gravity, apparently. Okay, cool. Basilisk Station was the Kingdom of Manticore's duty platform, protecting the wormhole near planet Medusa in the Basilisk system. So now this is right off the bat weird, because I mean, I just showed you guys a book cover a minute ago. And, you know, this is what we're dealing with. We got like, you know, this ring and a ball, and it looks like a pretty typical generic space station. First time I read the book, I did not notice the hammerhead shark, you know, starships. I simply did not notice it, you know. But as I got into the book, they would keep mentioning the Super Dreadnought class of ship, and I started noticing. So, yeah. So, getting back to this picture here, so that's Basilisk Station on the original book from like 1993. And this is a modern rendition now. As you read in, you see that the wormhole for the Manticore Junction forms inside of here. So I guess what they're doing is they're building like a large ring around the wormhole. And this ring is the space station, if I'm understanding correctly. And they have ships docked up close to it. And they have, like, I guess, like repair facilities. And, well, let's see here. We'll read up and then we'll skip ahead a bit. Basilisk Station. Oh yeah, I read that part. See, that's guided view. I mean, I like reading comics like this, but I can see how some people might find it a bit jarring. I know you're not here to plug, man. That's okay. I always plug myself simply by showing my presence. Nah, I'm kidding. Jokes aside, you're always welcome. Whether or not I plug you, you're always welcome. It was far from the center of Manticoran, I always have to say that differently, politics. And despite the subsequent tax revenue it generated from the massive civilian and merchant traffic through the wormhole, it was considered a liability back then. The Basilisk system picket wasn't a duty station. It was an exile, oblivion. So essentially, like, if the Admiralty doesn't like you, or something like that, I guess she's saying as much right here. It had become the Royal Manticoran Navy's purgatory, where careers went to die, a last step before being drummed out of active service and put on half pay in a disgraced forced retirement. So, you know, it's like, that's pretty typical in like Navy books. In fact, I was reading the old book that Gene Roddenberry learned from. So there's a book called, what was it called? I should remember, C.S. Lewis, or C.S. Forrester. It's on the tip of my brain right now. Come on, you know, it's the sailing ship that Gene Roddenberry was inspired by. Oh my God, I can't remember the name of it right now. Oh. It's on the tip of my brain right now. You know, British guy, Royal Navy, like 1700s. I can't remember the name of this right now. Freaking Horatio Hornblower. That's it. Yeah. So Horatio Hornblower they did make a movie out of it, but it's actually based on a series of books about a guy named Horatio Hornblower. He starts off in book 1 as Midshipman Hornblower, and he works his way up through the, you know, Royal Navy. This is during the era of Cornwallis, so like roughly the American Revolution. In the books that I'm reading so far, Horatio Hornblower was, you know, dealing with Napoleon, basically. You know, they would call him Boney, so Napoleon Bonaparte's nickname was Boney. And, you know, they would do the naval blockades and all of that stuff, you know. And as it turns out, Gene Roddenberry, the guy who made Star Trek, was drawing a lot of inspiration from that. And that's why, like, when I was reading this book, it takes place in the 1700s, but it feels very familiar. And you got lieutenants, you got commanders, you know, all of that stuff. And I mean, if you watch enough Star Trek, you start to, like, feel at home when you're watching some naval crap that takes place in the Age of Sail, because essentially they are directly linked, or at least Gene Roddenberry was directly inspired by the older one. So in this planet, you got these like bugs, and the bugs are actually just the indigenous beings, and they're basically cool, except that they have this religious ritual where they rely on a drug that numbs their pain receptors. And so even though the drug can be used by the bad guys to manipulate them, it's also one of these things where the drug is allowed because it's like, it's a protected religious right. You know what I mean? So it's like one of these weird situations. And so what they're finding out throughout the story is that there might be a couple of bad actors. You got the smugglers. Okay, they're in it to make money. That's understandable. Then you got like some other parties in there, and they might have a bit more of an ulterior motive. Now, Anna Harrington, she has a bit of an interesting history because like one of the reasons why this assignment at Basilisk Station is complicated is because when she was in the academy, when she was at Saganami Island, which is the equivalent of Paris Island or wherever the Marines go in, you know, our military, this guy who's like a freaking well-to-do rich guy, you know, his mother ever, what's his name? I don't even want to give him the satisfaction. Over 20 years ago, while I was at the Royal Manticoran Naval Academy on Saganami Island, Pavel Young tried to assault me, and I'll leave it up to you to figure out what type of assault. He was an upperclassman, charming, handsome, the blue blood son of the Earl of North Hollow, a powerful politician and aristocrat of questionable morals. Like father, like son. That he was interested in me at all was a shock. Unlike my mother, I'd never been considered beautiful. Really? I'm sorry. Unlike my mother, I'd never been considered beautiful. Could I do that again? Now, I get it. In the book, they do emphasize that she's got like slightly exotic Asian features, but that she's sort of like a bit like broad-shouldered, you know, a bit like, you know, and perhaps like not conventionally attractive in her youth, but, you know, not necessarily ugly either. I mean, but this being a comic book, they're not doing a really good job conveying how ugly she is, you know, at all. Like, it's not working. Like, it's not doing it for me. Oh, by the way, one issue of this comic I noticed is throughout reading this comic, these ears. At first I thought we had mutants in this book. Can I zoom in on that? No, I cannot zoom in on that. But if I could zoom in on that, I would show you that freakish ear. There's like extra, I don't know, there's like extra shapes inside that ear. There's all kinds of crap going on. Like, okay, normal human ear, you know what a normal human ear looks like? That ear has something else going on. I don't know if this comic book is partially drawn by AI. I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't think it was, but I don't know why these ears, like, I have this on my top monitor right now, so I need to get up for a second to look at my top screen. Yeah, no, I don't get it. That is not a human ear. Okay, this lady's a mutant, which there's some truth to that. But okay, we're on page 23, so let's go back to page 1 for a second because I want to find a picture to show you guys what I mean. Right here. Somewhere here, there's like a scene where you see a crewman, and he's got like a messed up ear. I think it's like up here. Yeah, right there. Like once again, right over here. What my mouse point is, I know it's really hard to see. I mean, maybe I'll take some screenshots if you guys are really interested. But yeah, isn't that a weird ear? Okay, and there's more weird. Hey, what up, James? We got fucking Anna Harrington comics here, bro. This is why we're doing. By the way, we're doing this because of James. This is his fault. Indirectly, I was gonna read Anna Harrington already, but basically when James was like, "Yo, man, this is some good space opera right here," I was like, "You know what? Space opera is a hell of a drug," and I decided to get in on it. And let me tell you, I'm on book 6, going strong. Like I have no issues. It's not getting stale. So far, it's not even getting stale because I get into these military sci-fi books where you get to a certain point where it gets stale. You're just like, you know, they're doing the same thing. A lot of these sci-fi books, you're dealing with hero porn, which is the second thing I wanted to do tonight was draw some hero porn. But like not in the sense that you think. So, let me just see something. I want to make a note here. Okay, draw some hero prawn. I'm going to spell that as prawn. And we'll do that a little later if there's time. If we run out of time, we're not going to do any hero prawn. But I got a comedically messed up idea for that aspect of tonight's show. Okay, good. If we want to draw some hero prawn, we can do it later. But let's get back to this here. Let me just get the chat window up. Yeah, but yeah, like these are all freak ears. Like what's going? Oh, well, let me get the like up here, like this guy, like he's got fucking like 3 separate like ear canals on the side of his ear. Like I don't understand what's going on. What up, Nosferatu the vampire? Good to see you too. You're right. It's a hell of a drug indeed. Like I just don't know what's up with these ears. Like I want to write a letter to somebody and be like, why? Is this just what happens when you become like a member of the Space Navy and your family's been living in space for like, you know, multiple generations? Is this like a mutation? Is this an adaptation? Is this a feature? Is this like a genetically engineered ability? Like what is going on? These people have weird ears and I don't understand. Like my guess, I have a guess here. My guess is that these were drawn and scanned at a lower resolution. Or these were drawn at whatever resolution, but that Amazon decided to like upload them as some kind of like lower resolution image, and then Amazon maybe decided to upscale them using AI. And I don't know, these are freakish ears, so I just wanted to bring everyone's attention to the ears. But we're going to jump right back to page 23. Back to page 23 while we say hi to Chaos for You. What up, Chaos for You 728? Haven't seen you in a week. I mean, you've been streaming. I kind of dropped in. I looked on one or two of your streams. Chaos for You plays a couple of interesting games. He does some Mystery of Babylon readings on odd Sundays. So if you want to just get the straight dope from the people who wrote about that stuff. Yeah, you know, he goes to the source material. And James is right. Yeah, I agree, James. Nimitz is a very interesting no dialogue character. He has no dialogue. I mean, he has like, it's weird. It's like there's no dialogue, but you know, there's no doubt that in some capacity he's a bit of a practical joker, although not so much like his offspring, right? His offspring who got named Farragut, right? So apparently, like the continuing the naming tradition of cats with naval names. You know, I guess a baby tree cat is a bit more of a you know, a bit more of a practical joker. But Nimitz, yeah, he's got a sense of humor. He's a bit of a smarty pants, and but he's got a good heart. He's not a bad, you know, cat. And there's an incident when Hunter Harrington gets attacked by bad guys, where he proves his worth as a cat. Although in this particular story, when this bad guy goes to sexually assault Hunter Harrington on the in the ship's in the, you know, Saganami Island locker room. Her tree cat is not there to kick his ass. So instead, she kicks his ass. Like, no, stop this. Oh, why would you say no to me? And she's like, all right, that's it. I'm going to fucking break your throat. Crack. You hit me, you bitch. Then she's going to go and beat him up some more. You should be thanking me. No one else gives you a second look. And then she's like, all right, it's on. Then he goes and grabs her. And I guess at that point, she's like, okay, you want to do that? That's it. If he'd done even 5 minutes of research on me, he'd known I was already on the Academy Coup de Vitesse martial arts team. But he was only interested in sex, not me, my abilities, or anything about me. I never reported him for the attempted rape. I regret not doing so to this day. I was scared, shocked, and didn't think anybody would believe me. I didn't just stop him. I punished him for it. I put him in the infirmary for 3 days, and Pavel Young wasn't the type to forgive and forget. So she beat the shit out of the guy, and rightfully so. I mean, this is like, if a woman can do this in these circumstances, she rightfully should. And yeah, more of the ones Nimitz kicks some ass. I distinctly remember the one where Nimitz the cat rips someone's eyes out. And yeah, off with his head, the lady missed. Yeah, I agree. Like, off with the motherfucker's head. I mean, you know, does he get his comeuppance? It takes a little bit of doing, but man, as time goes on, you're not going to like this guy. Things like, ooh. But, okay, so she tries to kind of bury it. There's even like a commandant who like knew something was up, and she was not willing to open up about it. She decided she wanted to play it close to the chest. She really believed that nobody would believe her. And maybe she was right, because, you know, dealing with an aristocrat like that, you know, on one angle, when good people let bad people get away with stuff, you know, they keep getting away with it. But on the other hand, you go to tell on the bad guy, And then who knows, maybe you get unlucky and you get kicked out of the military because he's got friends in high places. Aristocratic scum like him make me sick. They think their wealth and connections will let them get away with anything. The sad thing is, sometimes that's true. How Young got banished to Basilisk Station as well, I never found out, but it didn't surprise me. He was lazy and incompetent, two traits that don't suit a commanding officer of a queen's ship. I hadn't seen Young in person since the academy. Boarding HMS Warlock, I knew I had to keep my cool. Permission to come aboard, sir. Permission granted, Commander Harrington. Paul Tankersley, Warlock's exec. He's pretty cool. Although there's a hell of a story there. That was how I first met Paul. I can't think about that now. One painful memory at a time is enough. If you'll accompany me, Commander, the captain is waiting in briefing 1. Lead on. And there he was, still dressed impeccably, although not according to military regulation. Men like him always feel they can bend the rules to suit their wishes. Some things never change. She got boosted from super soldier experiments in the past. Nothing heinous. Just metabolism like a dude. Some enhanced strength. But like 6 generations back. Yes. I didn't know she got... I know she was a genie, right? So like they revealed that in like book 4, where she told someone I'm a genie, or someone, says the word genie, and it's normally a derogatory, but it just means that, like you're genetically engineered like Khan in Star Trek, although not necessarily like Khan, luckily, because oh yeah, you said it. There you go. Anna is a genie. She's special. James literally said it. All right, I didn't see that when I said that, but yep, that is correct. Young gets it in the end, you'll see. Oh, I look forward to that, man, because he deserves it. And that's one thing I like about David Webber's writing, is that, like, I'm still waiting to see this motherfucker get it. And I'm okay with it. Like, this guy's... I think David Webber's pacing is pretty good. I could probably learn a thing or two about writing from this guy. And this is just a comic. This isn't even the book, but this does a pretty good job of following the book. And so... Anyway, this asshole has an idea. As you know, Basilisk Station is chronically understrength, and I'm afraid Warlock is overdue for a refit. So you got a station and you got a ship, and the ship needs a refit, so this guy's going to use it as an excuse. In fact, this is a list of our most urgently required repairs. That's why I'm so pleased to see you, Commander. Your presence will permit me to return Warlock to Manticore for the yard attention she needs so badly. Oh, he's so caring about making sure the ship gets its, refit. Under these circumstances, and in view of the extensive nature of our needs, I feel it would be inadvisable to ask Commander Tankersley to assume responsibility for Warlock's refit. Therefore, Commander Harrington, I will be accompanying Warlock back to Manticore to supervise her refit in person. I will, of course, return as quickly as possible. I realize my absence will be inconvenient for you, and I will make every effort to keep it as brief as possible. However, I estimate that the necessary maintenance and repairs will consume at least 2 months. During that time, you will be senior officer here at Basilisk. Your orders are on the ship. That will be all, Commander. Dismissed. He's got the smug look on his face. Leaving me senior officer with just fearless to picket an entire system was a guarantee of failure to execute the Navy's orders. Payback for what happened back at Saganami Island. He was setting me up to fail. The past, even with its dark spots, is preferable to the present. My memories were interrupted by the Havenite doctor returning to torture me. You want me to hold her, Dr. Wade? No, Sergeant Bergen. I think I can handle this. So now this is where we go back to the flashback where she's in, being imprisoned. I'm pretty sure I'm on the book right now that covers these events. I just haven't gotten up to these events yet. I'm pretty sure, I'm in the part of the book right before shit hits the fan. So right now, I'm reading the book, the book on my phone, and she's about to go out to dinner to her friend's ship. The commander from this book is now captain of his own ship in book 6 or 7, and she's gonna go out to have dinner over there. And I have a funny feeling that she's gonna get kidnapped at some point during the 18-hour time period while she's, you know, on the other ship or in transit. If not on herself, Royal Marines do her a favor. Oh yeah, yeah. Dude, I got these on Amazon. I mean, I paid like a few bucks for them, but I got these on the Kindle Cloud Reader. I'm sure they got them in print as well. I just happened to buy them in digital format so that I could read them right now, James. And I'm reading the chat. I don't have the chat on the screen right now. Maybe I should turn on the chat. Let me see if we can do that real quick. There we go. So we can have something to reference, you know. I gotta find these regardless of cost. Well, it depends if you want them physically or printed. I mean, digitally or printed, you have options. And they're very good so far. Like, these are great. Yeah, I'm a happy camper. So, like I said, they're telling a story from a different perspective. This guy's using what looks like a power drill to remove her bionic eye. I'm not going to tell anybody how she got a bionic eye. I just think that maybe we should leave some mysteries. If that's understandable. Although, that is a hot jumpsuit right there. Now, jokes aside, I don't know if this is like an interrogation suit. This could be a special interrogation suit. Like, maybe it's designed to electrocute her or something like that. Or it could be like what you wear under your spacesuit. I'm not really 100% sure. Maybe like it's like a still suit from Dune. Maybe it absorbs the sweat and recycles it into water. I have no idea. But yeah, lady from Public Havenite Public Information. Oh, she's holding her eye. Look at that. You can see she's holding the bionic eye right there. Yeah, I don't think it's... Yeah, if it's like about $3 a virtual copy, I agree. That is not bad at all. This would all go easier for you if you confess publicly to your crimes. No? I killed your tree cat an hour ago. Have anything to say about that? I reach out to Nimitz with my mind. He's withdrawn, caged and hurt, but he lives. I know she's lying. Okay, so that's good. Do you care about anyone other than yourself? Her taunt hurts me, but I won't give in. I'm deeply concerned for Nimitz and the rest of my crew imprisoned here aboard Tepes. Being unable to help them is a special kind of hell. I continue to distract myself by reliving the past. So apparently now she's going back to Basilisk Station, which once again, like, here's a great close-up right here of Basilisk. And, you know, it's like, it's got like all kinds of shit going on. Like, it's like, let me see if I can zoom in on this properly. I mean, like, you got some ships over here. I mean, I think it looks like there's some cabling here. I don't know if these are wires. It looks like there's something under maintenance over here. But it's a very interesting way to design it in the comic book here. But anyway, as she says about Mr. Young, Pavel Young abandoning a wormhole juncture was unheard of for a commanding officer. It was within his purview, but obviously a calculated effort to make me look bad and get revenge for what happened at Saganami Island. The Basilisk duty station was tasked with policing the entire system and all of the traffic... Oh, excuse me, I have a yawn. All of the traffic... Oh, excuse me, I had a traffic passing through the terminus. And there was no way one ship could do it all. He'd left me an impossible job in an attempt to sabotage my record and end my career. Unlike him, my father could not put me on the captain's list. The only way to achieve flag rank in the Royal Manticoran Navy, and if I botched my first independent command, however it had fallen on me, I never would get command. What up, Disney Sheepherder? Yo, we're gonna have Disney Sheepherder tomorrow. By the way, Disney Sheepherder, let me know, is that show tomorrow on... Is that gonna be on Rumble or on the other platform, YouTube? The other platform. I want to make sure that we put you on blast. I also want to make sure I set my reminder so that I know where to find it tomorrow. But what I can say is that... I apologize, guys. I don't mean to be spreading the yawns here. So real quick, yeah. Join us Tuesday night, 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as the panel talks about why fighting over dumb things is childish. Andy Masterson, Michael Lorber, TH Creations, Ordnance Packard, Spider-Man, Canadian Spider-Man, and Disney Sheepherder. And that will be with Raincore Steve. Oh, yeah, it says Rumble. I'm sorry. I should learn to read. It literally says Rumble right here. I apologize. It says Rumble right there. Yeah, so anyway. Excuse me, guys. Ugh. So anyway. Whew. Wait a second here. I'm getting a little teary-eyed here, yawning, you know? By the way, if you ever get dry eye, supposedly a trick is to just yawn. Although, I can't really induce yawning. If I'm not genuinely yawning, then it's not really a yawn, is it? Yeah, we got some pumping people. So anyway, James says, oh, excuse me. Open the window, get some cold air in here. Maybe wake me up a bit, huh? Oh, it's probably underwear to try to demoralize her. Yeah, it's probably some kind of demoralization underwear, yeah. Or it's her own underwear, maybe. And they just let her keep the underwear on, but it's still demoralizing. Or perhaps Officer 5 in the modern U.S. rank structure? Officer 5. So that's Rumble at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rancor Steve's channel. We're going to get you guys the Rumble link for that, and then we're going to get right back to the comic. That's weird. Rumble is being very weird. There we go. Got it right here. So, yeah, you guys can find Rancor Steve tomorrow, 10 p.m. on that Rumble link. If you want to see Disney Sheepherder. Actual... Nope, that's from last week. All right, that's all right. Well, just tune in tomorrow at 10 p.m. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I get the serious yawns here, guys. Whew. All right, let's get this on the road. Maybe if I keep reading some cool sci-fi, I'll wake up. Alrighty, here. Let's see. Whatever it took, I was determined to discharge my duties. I refused to let an arrogant piece of scum like Pavel Young win. So this is like, girl, she's a tough cookie. She got determination. If I recall, a Navy captain is 06 or colonel equivalent. I see. So the other one would be a 5, yeah. 05, I see. Man, I'm going to fucking keep yawning, and I'm gonna make it. I'm making it. Yeah, I'm sticking around to a 10:45. But you know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna end the stream. I'm gonna get a second burst of energy. Then I'm gonna have trouble sleeping. Anyway, so it's like almost pointless till I go to bed. HMS Warlock will depart from Manticore for a refit within the hour. Captain Young will be accompanying her, leaving Fearless, the only Queen ship in the system, and myself as senior officer. Needless to say, this will leave us with a great many commitments and a woeful lack of resources. This, however, is a Queen ship, and we will discharge her responsibilities, or I will know the reason why. Bookmarked on the Rumble Dumble. Ah. Very good. So you got First Officer McKean. Oh, did I do that? There we go. I gotta hit a button here. You got First Officer McKean, Alistair McKean over here. And in the beginning, he's a bit like, you know, maybe like a little bit in a tizzy for not being First Officer, but he gets over it and he shows better respect to his captain, and they eventually, you know, become good friends. The nicest part of skimming my own memories is that I can skip over many of the mundane details. The hours of planning and preparation, endless tactical reviews and discussions, arguments over what would and wouldn't work. Commander Santos, I want you to deploy our on-hand recon drones as stationary sensor platforms. I realize they aren't designed for this, but I know you and your team will figure out a way to make it work. Obviously, this is an engineering in the engine room. and here we are. She's talking to Commander Santos, basically telling him that we need some, probes, we need some satellites, we need some pickets, and we need them now. And so her idea is to basically modify the drones and sensor platforms in order to get something up and running. So then, like, her idea is, wait, where is the response? Stripping the sensor heads from the missile bodies in order to fit them with simple station-keeping drives and astrogation packages will allow us to use them as a monitor system to monitor traffic and be places fearless cannot be. So that's kind of cool right there. Oh yeah, you got, don't even get me started on Mac. I don't think we get to see Mac in the comic book yet, James, but he's a cool guy as ship's steward. Yo, my Scifi video went to 35,000 views. Holy cow. I'll tell you about that in a minute, guys. Oh boy, I'm just going to pull up Disney Sheep Herded so I can show you guys that in a little while. There we go. I already got the video up on screen. So, yeah. Captain, what you ask is possible, but we have nearly enough inventory to cover, but we don't have nearly enough inventory to cover even half of what you would need. I knew it was an impossible task, but I was determined. Basilisk was important, and the years of war that followed proved just how important. What we don't have, we'll fabricate. What we can't fabricate, we'll requisition. What we can't requisition, we'll steal. And she really says that in the book. Like, this is like exactly what she says in the book. I may have been curt, but pushing everyone to their absolute limits is the only way to get the job done. I screwed up, ma'am. I set the drones for directional, not omnidirectional. I think I made a little mistake in their telemetry packages, too. I can't seem to access them for remote reprogramming. I don't know why I'm reading that in a dopey voice. Well, Lieutenant Cardones, what do you suggest we do about it? I suppose we'll have to pick them up and reprogram them manually. Not acceptable. Wait, that's a woman. Not acceptable. That would delay us for days. I've always felt it best for an officer to solve his or her own problems. You're a tactical officer aboard the ship, Mr. Cardones. Wait, I can't read that. You are, oh yeah, I see. You're a tactical officer. You are a tactical officer aboard this ship, Mr. Cardones. The drones programming was your responsibility, so you need to correct the problem. Deal with it, Lieutenant. Yes, ma'am. Rafi, head back to your station. I'll be along in a few and we can talk it through. Okay, there we go. Exec is doing something. He's doing his best, Captain. Everyone's working double shifts to implement the drone surveillance net. Well, Mr. McKeon, he has to do better. Failure is unacceptable, and I believe he will rise to the occasion. She also says that in the book. Surface of the planet Medusa, Native Protection Agency, NPA headquarters. So, anyway, once again, I'm not going to get into the whole, alien thing. But basically, there's this lady. She's in charge of, like, some enforcement agency. But because Pavel Young is such a shitty station commander, he was basically leaving them to do, like, double the work that they should have been responsible for. So, luckily, Anna Harrington talks to this lady named Dame Mazel. What's her name? Dame. She's got, like, a funny name. I want to find her name now. Dame Estelle Matsuko, the resident commissioner for planetary affairs and head of the NPA on Medusa, was a like-minded soul, and we quickly became friends. So basically, she's a no-nonsense lady too, and once they were on the same page, they were able to come to an understanding and basically figure out ways to work together. And this is a very weird art style. So first you got, Anna Harrington and her street cat over here talking across the table. Okay, that makes sense, right? Then we go to this panel, we see Miss Estelle, and what you'll notice is, like, each of these panels are, like, overlapping. So they got Estelle and Anna Harrington, then you got another panel, Estelle and Anna Harrington, but they overlap, and that could be a little confusing sometimes to see, like, your characters, like, in front of themselves, but that's just the art style. So real quick, Disney Sheep Herder is giving me some flag here, some wool. Well, first let's take a look at his video here. So yeah, this video here made 35,000 views. Sheep herding in Ireland, and you can see it literally says, wait, this isn't it. Oh, that's Iceland. Whoops, that's Iceland. Let's get to Ireland. Ireland is different. And so you got the bikini girls. You got wool. Did you know they made like these little? They made underwear in wool. I did not know that. I didn't know wool could be made into a thin fabric. I thought everything had to be like really thick in wool. Well, I gotta find Ireland. Ireland, where's Ireland? Here we are. Part 2. Oh yeah, I saw the part 2 today. It was very good. The part 2 only has 15 views, so I'm gonna drop the link to that after this. But for now, we're gonna find the original Ireland video. Yeah, this literally has 35,000 views right over here. It's beautiful. Oh yeah, so why is my background white and black? So this is because I put Google Chrome in the dark mode, but apparently what it really does is it inverts all of the colors, so it makes everything like look wrong. It works when your lights are off and you're looking at your screen, but it's not very helpful. I gotta turn off that setting. It's in a hidden setting. I don't really have time to change that setting right now, but there is actually a setting I did adjust to make that happen. But yeah, you know, and can you believe like you only got 1,000 views? And here's why. I believe it's because most of the people watching don't have YouTube accounts. And so it's not even a matter of being too lazy to click on the like button. They can't. If they click on it, it's going to tell them to sign up for YouTube. And when people do that, they're going to click on it and be like, I'm too lazy to make an account. At least that's my theory. I don't know if it's accurate. But we're going to drop part 2 of the Irish sheep herding video here because it's so beautiful. And I want it to get more likes. So I'm going to do that right now. Sheep herding in Ireland part 2. But more importantly, yes, Disney sheep herder is giving me shit. He wants me to have my turtles more. And he's saying, he just keeps telling me like, oh man, where's the turtle cam? And I said, yeah, man, I got to do it. And he's like, yeah, man, you really got to do it. And every day, he's like, yeah, where's the turtle cam? Where's the turtle cam? People want to see the turtles, man. He's right. Because, I mean, people like sheep. They probably like turtles, too. And, like, it's a research project. Like, I have to shop for a camera that is waterproof, or I have to settle for a cheap webcam that I'm willing to mount on the side of the turtle tank. And that's probably what I got to do. I kind of want to, like, you know, maybe do it over a network-attached camera, like, hook up some webcams to a Raspberry Pi, which I have a couple right here, and work it out like that. But you can't plug like too many. If you have like an old laptop, you can't plug like too many high quality webcams to one camera. And I mean, you're not wrong about being unable to compete with animal videos, because when I posted my tortoise in a short video, like people will like, I had 100 views overnight, and I don't get 100 views on most of my videos. So, you know, apparently they like the turtle. So, you know, we got some flashbacks. Oh, here we are. Here's the aliens on drugs. See? Aliens on drugs. See, I told you so. They're all like, argh. It's like, I don't know why this looks so wrong. Like, there's like some gas coming out of it, and they're getting all messed up. And this guy's holding an empty can. He's like, oh, I'm fucked up. Where's more? Kind of like someone that rhymes with Positive Chiden. Can't compare with animal videos. Who hasn't seen Poppy and Paxton yet? I don't think I've seen Poppy and Paxton yet. Yeah, I like turtles too. Turtles are really good guys. I mean, look at this guy. I love my turtle. I think Poppy's a fantastic turtle. Oh shit, I'm supposed to feed her. I'll do it tomorrow before work. But yes, you got these aliens. They're on drugs. These are aliens. These are aliens on drugs. And let's just jump ahead a little bit, you know. So you got some ships right here. This looks like the Pegasus class ship from Gundam. How do I know it looks like a Pegasus class ship from Gundam? Oh, I know. I know. It doesn't really, but let me see. Can I hold? How do I? Okay, let me see it. It's gonna be like. I'm just trying to go from right to left. Right. Oh yeah. So yeah. So I have to get my orientation. So it's kind of like. I don't think this is what they were going for, but you could see, like, I'm missing a wing. I'm missing a wing. Where's the wing? I need to get the wing. All right, well, I need to find missing wing. And I'm not going to do that on your time. Oh, here it is. And these aren't technically wings, but I do have wings right over here. So this model has like wings that I'm supposed to be attaching to the side over here. See, I painted them. Look pretty nice, don't they? But like, I just see like this here and this here. And I really do see a resemblance between this and where's my, I need to see my OBS. I do see like a bit of resemblance. Like, wait, there we go. That's better. I don't know if they were going for that. I don't know if they were trying to copy Mobile Suit Gundam or if it's just a coincidence, but yeah, I just thought it was kind of an interesting like design. Ridiculous cuteness over 9,000. They are pet prairie dogs. Prairie dogs are interesting. I found a guy who has like he does maintain he does keep a pet, like a cargo of pet prairie dogs. You got some Marines here. There's actually, in fact, there's like a guy here. They mentioned this guy here named Somerville, and he's like a professional duelist. And you're not really supposed to duel people professionally on behalf of other people, but essentially what he does is he goes around and goads people into dueling him, and then he kills them like every fucking time. And like, it's just like, it's messed up. Like, this guy's messed up, yo. I know about a couple of fixed pie cameras. Yeah, I've seen a couple of those. I might, how about, he said, how about a couple of fixed pie cameras? Might go that route. I don't like the ones that have to hook up to that weird ribbon cable. Because, yeah, he gets his. I got to that part. I'm well aware he gets his. I've been, that happens already. Like, yeah, that's like crystal clear. In fact, Pavel Young does get his comeuppance, but it happens in such a way that I don't want to ruin it yet, but it happens in such a way that he still has like something, you know, he's not dead. He just kind of, you know, gets knocked down a notch, but along the way, Honor Harrington has to deal with some flack from the, you know, Congress. You know, she's put in a bad spot because of it. You know, I don't want to ruin it, but it's like he does get what he's got, what's coming from him. But I don't remember if he gets, does he actually? Maybe it did. I might have to refresh my memory on that, to be honest, James. I don't remember what happens to Pavel Young all of a sudden. Like, I thought I remembered, but I got to double check. But, you know, so you got like multiple chapters, and now things get a bit heated. And Dame Estelle figures out that, hey, those aliens on the planet, we caught one of them with a freaking breech-loaded rifle. And it's like, this is not their technology. It's like, so somebody trying to instigate some bullshit. It's probably the guys who eventually end up at war with the Manticoran Navy. What is going on here? That's a weird, it's very dizzying. Zoom out real quick. Commander Harrington, yes. I'm Klaus Hopton, here to make a courtesy call. Would it be convenient for me to visit? So this guy, he's like part of the Manticoran, you know, like, I guess, he's like a businessman. But what's happening is Honor Harrington, she put people to work on customs inspections, and she did a really good job. This is where Honor Harrington is a no-nonsense lady. She's like putting them on task with customs inspections, and whether they're on her side or the other side, the people are doing like a very, you know, diligent job. In fact, she found a guy who used to get in trouble for freaking, you know, smuggling things into the ship. And he's the guy who's like one of the top customs inspectors right now, because he kind of knows what he's doing. So anyway, this guy kind of threatens her dad's career, and she's like, you know, how dare you? And he makes an appearance later on in the book. I think he gets like a nice little arc. But let's take a look at Nimitz in the comic. Like, once again, like, he gets drawn up in so many different ways, but in here he's got like a freaking, he's got veins coming up his neck. He's like freaking brolic. One thing I find interesting is how he's got like both sets of his arms in the front. It almost looks more believable, because if you look up like Tree Cat in Honor Harrington's books, you get different images. So for example, you get this one here, or you get this one here, or you get this one over here. But like this, like more like I think an art rendition. But you can see how like this one's got like two. You got 6 legs. So whereas over here, this guy's got like literally like 3 pairs of legs. This picture here, I don't even. Yeah, once again, this one's a little bit more like the 2 in the front. But there's so many different ways that you get to see these tree cats getting drawn up. So I just thought it's kind of interesting how they did it over here. This one, he's like a bit more like scary looking, but apparently that doesn't stop him from being nice and cool. But when you're reading the book and you look at the book cover of the first book, I mean, that is a way cuter cat. I mean, it's still a big cat, but it looks much cuter. Looks much like less like it's gonna eat your face off. But you can see those prehensile hands. They will rip your eyes out if they don't like you. Or if he doesn't like you. If Nimitz does not like you, he is ripping your eyes out. Okay, that is what he can do. What up, Peter Venkman fan site? We got the Peter Venkman fan site in the house this evening. And so, let's see here. I think the duelist is the Marine's favor. Maybe they put the fear of God into him. She does kill him in someone in a duel, trying to get at him. Oh no! I don't want to ruin it, but I have it on good authority that she might actually kill the guy who, you know. Yeah, I don't want to ruin the plot too much, but yeah, I think it was actually the guy. The thing is that I think Pavel Young, he gets like demoted. He's sort of like known for being responsible for hiring the duelist, but he still has the family connection. So I think he gets like pushed out of the Navy, but he still has like a nice plush office, you know, or something like that, you know, something to do. He's not really suffering. He's suffering a little bit of, you know, I guess you would say, he gets his comeuppance. I mean, like, I think he still realizes that he lost. Brolic, I haven't heard that term in a while. Yeah, I don't know. I hear it sometimes. Forgotten details. I read the books in oh, you read them in 08. Yeah, it's a long time ago. I understand. Yeah, she definitely kills the guy in a duel trying to get to him. That's accurate. I stand corrected for a second. But yeah. He definitely does. She definitely does kill somebody in a duel. And essentially, I think the result does kind of come out in her favor, you know, more or less. And yet, Nimitz is not a huge cat. Weber goes into detail about his teeth, his claws. He's about 10 centimeters. Huh? The claws of the cat. But the cat's like a pretty healthy size. Like they even talk about like the cat being almost as big as Honor Harrington when she's 16. More like in length. Obviously not so much in height. You know, so I mean like if the cat's standing on all 6 legs, he's not going to be as tall as Honor Harrington. But if he stands on his hind legs, he could be pretty much approaching her height when she was younger. And one of the weird things about this book is that everyone has prolonged treatment. So basically that's like a youth treatment. Everyone gets like, well, assuming that like the technology came out before it was too late for you to get the treatment. There's a lot of people now, like Honor Harrington later on in the series, she's like well into her 50s and she still looks like she's in her 20s, early 20s. And that's because the treatments will keep you looking young for a long time. You know, it's like they're very lucky to have that technology. But anyway, let's see if I could, before we wrap up, touch a couple of bases here. But I'll catch up with the chat real quick. Yes, Pavel Young was disgraced. He wants his revenge. He never gets it. Eventually comes to accept his loss in status. Oh, okay, that's good to know. Because he deserves it. He's kind of heavy, maybe 30. Yep, that's correct. Yeah, I think about 30 kilograms. He's a pretty heavy cat, muscled, very muscular. So, you know, you get the idea. So we got like this freight ship here, and they got this cool art style where you got these like little energy fields coming out the side, and it clearly looks like a lot like a cargo, a container ship, you know? But there's something up about the ship, like they're describing, getting this big exposition dump, and they're saying that it's very unusual that the freight ship is running its engines like at standby mode continuously, because even though most ships when they're parked, like most non-war ships will, you know, turn off their engines when they're not running. a civilian ship, if they keep their engines running, or if a freight ship keeps its engines running, they're going to be using up a lot of fuel. So that's suspicious. It makes her wonder, like, what are these people up to? What are they getting ready for? What do they plan on? What is it that they're concerned about? And, well, you know, we got some pew-pew, you know, you got some weapons fire, and, you know, all this action happening, and I don't want to, you know, go into too much detail here, but you can see that stuff going on here. In fact, I don't think I got up to this part yet. Zulu was a naval code, never sent in drills, not even in the most intense or realistic fleet maneuvers. K-Zulu had one meaning and only one meaning. And one only. Invasion imminent. Unfortunately, given the transmission speeds of Manticoran Admiralty, the Manticoran Admiralty would not receive the message until the action was over. No backup was forthcoming. We were on our own. And so basically, the system of Haven. Haven had sent 2 vessels in play. The merchant vessel Sirius was already accelerating out of the system, heading toward the Telemann wave, a path that led directly to Haven's star system. So anyway, long story short, these guys are deciding to pick a fight. Let's see if we get some cool pictures here. And Honor Harrington is going to basically rise to the occasion by kicking ass, although I believe it's going to be at the cost of heavy losses. And here we got the giant bugs with some weapons. I didn't even get up to this part yet. Like, I don't even know what happens here. Like, I mean, I know what happens in the book, but I'm going to have a lot of fun reading this when I get a chance to read it tomorrow. But I just love good spaceship artwork. And one of the things I like is, like, you know, just seeing the Hammerhead ships having just a nice, cool comic book style to them. So, yeah, I think it's pretty bumping right there. I'll never forget that Chief Engineer Dominica Santos and her team. Oh, yeah, what they did that day. Yeah, they basically were standing next to a blown up reactor when it blew up. They saved everyone's lives, but at the cost of their own. Wow, these guys getting the weapons ready, and there's all kinds of chaos going on in the meantime. Yeah, this is like serious. Now, one of the funny things is later on in the book, there's a couple of people on the ship who want to become deserters, and they want to desert because they're like bitching and moaning that, like, you know, like that, like they look at the freaking, like, what do you call it, like casualty lists under Honor Harrington's command, and they're just like, dude, have you seen our casualty list? We're goners if we serve under this lady. It's like serving under General Patton in World War II. You probably don't want to be serving under Patton during D-Day. You know, like, your life is kind of like forfeit. You know, you could be 50% surviving, you could be 50% dead. You don't know when you're working certain details in the war, you know? So yeah, that's the gist of that. Real quick, let me just get some, real quick. Okay, what's that shit called? Blackjack. The Lost Fleet. Campbell. So earlier, I want to just touch briefly on the concept of hero porn. So hero porn is like a book when the character is always the hero, and like there's a series of books known as The Lost Fleet, and it's basically about an admiral who was thought to have been dead for like 100 years, but really he was in an escape pod being frozen or being kept in stasis. And so 100 years later, there's a bunch of this prophecy. People are saying, oh yeah, Blackjack John Geary is going to come back to life and save us. And one day they find his escape pod, and because he's the highest ranking officer in the fleet, he's put in command of this fleet that's like stuck in the middle of like nowhere, and they got to get their asses home. And along the way home, they got to negotiate obstacles and, you know, deal with every issue that arises their way. And he wasn't planning on being command. He just got pulled out of an escape pod after a battle. But, you know, throughout the book, like, it's always like, you know, sooner or later, he's triumphantly coming on top. He's always the freaking hero. So I'm like reading about this, and people are like saying how he has like shameless hero porn. So if you like reading about the main character being a hero every freaking time with no failings, it's the thing to read. And I got a little bit of that out of Honor Harrington, but not quite. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, I'm not saying she's not perfect. She is like the most Boy Scout captain I've seen, but she's like also not like, not every person under her command loves her. Like, most people do. Most people develop a strong respect for Captain Honor Harrington or whatever rank she ends up getting. But there are those who, you know, don't want to be caught under her command because, I mean, you know, it's like for one reason or another, they're putting her into harm's way, or she happens to execute her duty extremely well in harm's way. The casualty lists are high. Now, maybe if she got killed in battle, she wouldn't have another chance to bring more people into battle. But, you know, people are going to be wimps in war. So about hero porn, I don't think we have time for that, but I had an idea. It was a messed up idea. So I said, well, what does hero porn look like in a picture? So I'm going to draw a picture, but then instead I'm going to draw superhero porn. So what would superhero porn look like? Let's see if we can get like a quick, yeah, Lady Mist is typing fast. Yeah, Lady Mist, or is it James? Who types fast? Well, both of them type fast. And thank you, Lady Mist. I really do appreciate that. Enjoy the stream. Hit that smash like button and smash the bell. Then do a little cha-cha-cha and share. I appreciate that. Thank you, Lady Mist. Yeah, Master Chief, that's another example. Heavily decorated, possibly post-hummus. Post-hummus. I want some hummus now. I might order some hummus tomorrow. Thanks for the idea, Lady Mist. Get like maybe get some halal tomorrow for some hummus on the side. End of Halo, back in the deep freezer. So anyway, like real quick. So okay, getting on topic here. Let me just get my screen back up. So my idea was, if I was gonna draw a hero porn, it'd be something like this. It'd be like, okay. Oh, that's a huge... Oh, crap. I gotta change... Okay, I'm not gonna fix the setting on my drawing tablet right now. So, let's see here. If this is like... Oh my god, I cannot... Okay, I gotta reconfigure my drawing tablet. I know what to do, but I don't want to do it right now. So, hypothetically, what would hero porn look like? Well, superhero porn would be like Wonder Woman and Superman, or the Incredible Hulk and Wonder Woman. Okay, see, I got my mind in the gutter. So anyway, my intent was to draw a picture of the Incredible Hulk and Wonder Woman, but because my mind is in the gutter and I don't really want to draw anything anymore on this drawing tablet, and apparently my drawing tablet is being uncooperative right now, I'll have to do... Oh, God. Uh-oh. I just unplugged the HDMI cable from my drawing tablet, and all of my screens, like, went blank, and they're now coming back slowly, so, I should probably play with that tomorrow. Oops. I don't even know what just happened. Uh-oh. Oh boy. There's like a black box in my top monitor right now. Like, I am literally... Okay, whatever. I'll deal with this tomorrow. Okay, so jokes aside, let's get back to the chat and we're going to wrap this up for real. And we're not going to draw any examples of heroes or superheroes. Oh, I remember. I got something cool in the mail today. I got a cool old pocket computer. Yeah. So check this out. Man, I'm gonna have to edit this stream when I'm done, aren't I? So this is an iPad device that used to be like $900, but I paid like $20 for it. And it's got like a touchpad on it, like a regular computer mouse. And it's actually pretty robust. But these became irrelevant by 2005. But this one was unique because it had the memory card slot here and here, whereas the device I had before only has the big memory card slot. So this device is actually a little bit smaller than the older device with the black and white screen, but vastly superior. And in the not too distant future, we're going to be hopefully getting some of these old handheld devices refurbished, because, like, for example, you see this one here doesn't even have a memory card slot in it. But I want to see which of these devices I can get up and running. So far, it was really easy to get the black and white screen device up and running because it literally runs on AAA batteries. I mean, look, I have a memory card and a pack of AAA batteries in here. So it's like really no issue getting this device up and running, aside from the fact that the software is a bit outdated. This one, assuming I get a battery charger on this one, and this one should be no problem either because it does have a removable battery. And I already bought a replacement battery pack, so this one should be pretty straightforward to get up and running. But this has less novelty value because, I mean, it's almost like a modern smartphone, but not. So I don't know, at some point we'll see how that goes, and then the future stream we'll play some games with that stuff right there. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go and try to set up my drawing tablet properly tomorrow. If anybody has any questions, let me know right now while I catch up with the chat. And yeah, you're right, even the Havenites duke it out with some pirates and slavers. And you know, there's a book called Honor Among Enemies, and in that book you do meet a enemy captain who's not a piece of crap. But you know, it just takes one failure in the Havenite military for them to, you know, demote you. And by demote you, I mean they kill you. They execute you. So that's, you know, leave it to the commies, I guess. The video game, first one I legit shed a tear or two. If the game failed, that would be the end of Master Cuisinart. I did enjoy Halo 1. My favorite part of Halo 1 might have been like at the end of the game. Maybe not my favorite part, but I really enjoyed the end of Halo 1 when you're driving the Warthog in the lower decks of the Pillar of Autumn. So you got to blow up the engine room, right? So after you throw some grenades into the, you know, the engines or the reactors, you hop into a Warthog. And because the ship is like crashed on the ground, it's like all busted up. So as you're driving the Warthog being chased by enemies, you're driving over ramps and you're jumping over crap, and it's like just a jolly good time, you know, riding the Warthog down obstacle course. And then eventually, you know, you win, and then, you know, Foehammer gets blown up, and then you and Cortana get inside the fighter plane together and evacuate the Halo, and that is the end of Halo. I got an inventory and set up the first aid kit I won on the Prepping with Sarge channel. That's interesting. I didn't know Sarge had a channel. It came with a prefab tourniquet, but I'm guessing no Narcan. No Narcan or no morphine. I mean, do you need Narcan? You really need more. You need the actual painkiller. Like, Narcan is not a very good painkiller. Narcan is more like if somebody overdoses on painkillers, you give them Narcan. But I'd imagine, like, otherwise, you want to have morphine in that first aid kit. I mean, it's not legal to have a first aid kit containing morphine, but I would think that's what you want in your first aid kit. Oh, collector's items. Okay, I see. Gump phone. Dr. Rayner, not your ordinary ortho, brought up a new drug on the streets. You get some nasal Narcan if you get extreme risk of taking opiates. If you got extreme risk taking it. So, interesting. I have to learn more about that. I'm going to have to Google that or ask you about that sometime. But before I meander on, because I think I'm starting to like get incoherent here. But yeah, that was book 1, comic book number 1 of the Honor Harrington series. So you already saw the book cover of On Basilisk Station. But I'm going to give you guys the, oh yeah, that's why the screen went black. Okay, I just got to refresh the Amazon Kindle app. So right here, you know, we got the book I'm reading right now is titled In Enemy Hands. And that is book 7. I'm on book 7 right now, yo. In fact, I'm going to go to bed right now. I'm going to put on the audio version because a lot of times I'll buy a book on Amazon. I'll buy the Kindle version if they give me a discount when I buy it in a bundle. So I bought the Kindle version alongside the, you know, alongside the audio version. So I can literally like read this at my leisure, or listen to the audio version at my leisure, and go back and forth. So that's a jolly good time right there. And that's one of the better things that Amazon's got going for them. But the big issue is that a lot of the stuff is copy protected. Actually, here's the crazy thing. I don't think the Honor Harrington book is copy protected. So the book over here, like the actual Kindle book, is not copy protected. And that's because when I went on Amazon to, like, you know, buy it, it literally said as much. It said, let's see here. I'll read you the blurb right here. This is actually very uncharacteristic of publishers to do this. But we're going to find it. I think if I do a keyword, it says, like, at the publisher's request. Okay, it doesn't say here, but when I went to buy one of these books, it actually said, like, on the page, oh, here it is, Kindle. I gotta click Kindle. And then it's probably going to say, oh, yeah, it says right here. Anna Harrington is going home and taking the people with her, even if she has to conquer hell to do it. At the publisher's request, this title is sold without DRM, digital rights management. So hypothetically, I could copy the book and share it with you guys, which I would never do because I enjoy the book. And if you guys like what I just read, I would ask you to consider buying it, or reading it or getting another synopsis of it. But like, I would never want to defraud the author of a quality book, especially when a company, a publisher is willing to be so generous. Because one of the things I hate about buying books on Kindle is that I can't make backup copies of 90% of this stuff. Like, I want to be able to back up these books to a memory card so I can read them on any device, anywhere. But if the Amazon cloud ever went out, if the earth ever got knocked out by EMP, I lose access to a lot of these books. So that's really depressing. At least with the audiobook, I can manually copy an audiobook. I've done it a couple of times. It's almost like recording an audio tape. You literally hit record and you hit play and you just record the audiobook. So I can make backups of audiobooks. And if I fail to do that to my entire audiobook library, that's my fault. But I do find it crappy that a lot of these books are copy protected because I'm not looking to share them. I just want to be able to have backup copies. But the Anna Harrington books, I can literally make a backup copy of them, supposedly. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. Interesting. Baen Books used to have the free online. That explains a lot, James, because Baen Books, they have like a couple of these versions of Anna Harrington, right? They got like Baen Books, Anna Harrington, and these are like, they got like these $2 versions of the book sometimes. Like if you go here, like where was it? Like, it had like a really weird book cover. The artwork was completely different. Let me see. I'm going to find the example here. Oh, here we are. I got it right here. So like if I go here, this book cover here, she's wearing this really weird uniform. It says introducing Anna Harrington on Basilisk Station. When I clicked on one of these weird book covers, I found a version. It was like a $1.99 edition. It was like a version of the book that literally said like $1.99 on the cover or some crap like that. And so my guess is that between the free library on their website that Baen had, here we are. Like they had like versions of, but here we are. Like, is it this one? No, this isn't it either. Okay, it's not gonna come up now, but I swear I found an example of the book that had a book cover similar to the ones I just showed you, but it was clearly labeled as like a really cheap, low cost version of the book that was like, and it had Baen Books. It had the Baen book logo on it, like in big, like it had the giant logo. So that's why I mentioned it. So anyway. Oh, it's a drug class. Okay, drug class can require 6 doses of Narcan to revive and possibly prevent cardiac arrest. That makes sense because, yeah, like as you get to the crazier fentanyls or the various car fentanyls or synthetic opioids, like a single shot of Narcan doesn't always do it. Whereas sometimes, like, yeah, you only need half a shot of Narcan to pull somebody out from the brink. But, yeah, I get that. I've read a bit about that topic as well. And yeah, if it's Baen Books, they probably did go DRM free. So that makes sense. And that explains it. Thank you, James. I appreciate you confirming that. So anyway, last thing I'm going to say, if you want books on discs, you can find a book with the audio CD in the library. You might strike gold with at least a score of novels. Huh, interesting. Yeah, recording the audiobooks to make a backup is a bit of work. It's not a whole lot of work. It's more like time consuming. So like I would just open up Audacity and turn on the ability to record my desktop audio. The real problem is that if I'm recording a book on my desktop computer, we're using 100 watts of electricity running this computer just to record an audiobook over the course of 8 to 16 hours. If I do it on a laptop, you can do it for less energy. If we do it on a, like a lower energy device, we could do it using less computer. If I do it on my new computer, my backyard computer, I might be able to do it for like 80 watts. I don't know. You get the idea. But yeah, there's a way to strike. It definitely is a little bit of a, process. I'll be honest. Yeah, okay, so you get a crap ton of text novels on a single CD. And then once you have the CD, you can make a backup copy of that CD for personal use. I mean, you could just as well They might have audiobooks in the library. They have some pretty interesting audio format books at the library too. Don't really know much about that. Haven't been into a library in recent time. But yeah, jokes aside, so yeah, this is the Lost Fleet. This is a portal called a jump gate. They have a hyperdrive and they have a system of jump gates that connect different hypernet gates, they call them actually, that connect different systems together. And on Harrington, they have wormholes. They have the impeller drive, which is like, it has different like levels of speed. I believe they do approach near faster than light travel. And then they have something, what do they call it? They call it a Wachowski sail. And these are all ways, or at least Wachowski sails and the wormhole system are ways that the ships in the Honor Harrington, the Honorverse, can go, faster than light. And with that being said, I think we've about covered all of the bases. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. Really, I didn't know that. So when you got not audio text, crap ton of novels. So if you go to the library, get a CD with novels on it. It was encouraged to copy and share as long as you weren't being really dirty and trying to profit from that. That makes sense, especially like last thing I want to touch on is that like if you listen to like LibreVox audiobooks or whatever, they'll say that LibreVox audiobooks are in the public domain. They're not for sale. If you want to become a volunteer, go to LibreVoxAudio.com and you can become a volunteer and also read audiobooks, for free. And this is one of the ways that they're able to take older books and make them freely available in the audio format through LibreVox. And so a lot of times you go to their website or you go and you look up a YouTube upload where it has a bunch of these, audiobooks, or in this case, a CD at a library. I know you're talking about printed, ebooks, but it kind of sounds like there's a bit of a similarity in the way that's handled. Like, did I say, like, you must read this, it's awful. That's a good one. So yeah, it's all fun and games until someone reads something they don't like, how it is. But jokes aside, yeah, once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank James, the Disney sheepherder, who wants me to get a camera to monitor my turtles. I know it's a priority. Thanks, James, for the idea about the Raspberry Pi camera options. I will investigate that too, because every time Disney sheepherder reminds me, I do investigate that. So I will investigate. I mean, I do say I'm investigating that, but I do mean it, because I would like to have a turtle camera. I want to have like a way, maybe have a night. I want to have a night vision camera and a day vision camera. So when we're streaming, we can watch my turtle sleep. I think we would all love to see like a night vision version of a sleeping turtle. How cute would that be? How precious would it be to see a sleeping turtle? I think it's the most precious thing. You know how many times I've went up with a night vision camcorder and watched my turtle sleep? I've done it like about, I don't know, like 5 or 6 times. So anyway, jokes aside, I reserved that recommendation for the movie Robot Jocks. I have to remember to look into that tomorrow. Anyway, I do also want to say hi and good night to the Peter Venkman fan site. Thanks for tuning in. Lady Mist, did I say Lady Mist already? I think I mentioned James and the Disney sheepherder. I want to say hi to my boy William, who I think is long since went to bed. Feel free to think. Thanks for dropping by. Caleb Reynolds, also, quality content. And of course, Pacific 414, whom I'm happy to plug anytime. I know he doesn't come here to get plugged. I know he comes here to say what up and to even enjoy my content, but like I'm always happy to shout out his content, as well as Chaos for You 728. He's a good time. He knows how to have a good time. He does. I enjoy his content and I enjoy the conversations that we have while watching his channel. So without further ado, I will officially hereby conclude this stream. Now, for anybody watching on the replay, if you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment. Please like and subscribe. And for now, we shall end transmission on my mock. Gotta hit a button.